can't shake the feeling that I should combine fight with that song.
Hmm.
I'm I was just thinking about that today at work. It's like maybe I should combine the first half of fight and then use part of "We Need a Hero" as the chorus. I don't know how that's gonna fit well because they kind of run almost the same beat by beat, but I don't I don't I don't know if the tone will match each other correctly. I'm gonna experiment that one day when I get around to. I'm gonna experiment. But good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your Welcome Number 10. I was ruminating on how to make that opening a little bit better. I like the result, but I want to make it just a smidget better. I know I can do better. Y'all know I can do better.
Yep.
But let me take off my artist hat. I'm in radio host mode right now. We are starting back again with a minus one member tonight. Unfortunately, Janelle, the me guys, will not be joining us tonight. She had some emergency back at home that she had to deal with. Don't worry, guys, it's not that big of a deal, non-issue that much. But she couldn't. She had to. Basically, her attention was on that for now, so she won't be joining us tonight. But hopefully, she'll join us for the third season, which we'll get her thoughts on this season of season 2 X-Men 92, of course. Wow, I'm speeding through this shit. Let's blow up the damn opening. Again, we are doing season 2 of X-Men 92. And looking at that opening intro alone really tells me what's wrong with X-Men 97 right now. And just to briefly just go over that real quick, my issue with 97, it looks too flash animation. I'm currently watching the first. I've already gotten to the third episode, but that thing, that whole issue with the animation is really bothering me. It's the fact that we're coming from 92's version of animation, which is 2D and hand drawn, but then when you go over to 97's animation, it feels like a Newgrounds, a well produced, mind you, a well produced Newgrounds animated feature. You you guys feeling me?
It looks more like
It feels too much like Marvel What If, really.
it looks more
Nah,
like it,
no,
it looks like it has
no,
the
not.
animation style as Archer.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels too much
Well,
like Archer.
okay. Well, first off, animation and art are two completely different things. All right, don't use them interchangeably. The art like is gives off some Archer vibes. Sure, your animation, yeah, yeah. It sometimes it comes off as not really stilted, but almost like every time like your computer stops and it buffers, then it becomes all choppy.
Well, the thing
I'm not
is,
saying it's saying more like art, it's more like the MCU's Marvel What If. That's what I'm
no.
getting at.
What if it's more fluid dude. I'm telling you right now, What If is more fluid than that art animation in '97, and I have not watched What If. What if you want to go comparison, specifically comparison, it's basically like early's 3D anime, specifically the 009 Call to Justice anime on Netflix. Yeah, I probably never heard of it or probably haven't seen it, but I've
No,
seen
I
it
see.
multiple times.
No, I've seen it.
I know you've seen it. I'm talking about these two. Sorry, three.
What was the name of it again?
Cyborg
Can't remember.
009 Call to Justice.
I haven't seen it, but it does have an animation
Ooh,
style. Go ahead.
I've seen the one that followed the manga, not the one that updated all of the characters' looks.
Yeah, I would
You're
have
talking about Reed
preferred.
009.
I would have preferred for the series that follows the manga. However, we're not discussing that, nor 97. We're discussing 92 season 2. All right, so let's
Exactly.
not get off track.
Right. But yeah, in short, that show, that animation is kind of choppy. I'm slogging through it, guys. I'll tell you the rest of my review when I get through to that. But
We can touch on 97 after we're done covering 92.
since you have a lot to talk about, we have the Hound of the Saldonic Pal.
Good evening or afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our animation spotlight. Where today we're going over part 2 of our X-Men 92 retrospective, starting with season 2 of the titular series.
We have the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty, and I write things.
That she does. All kind of crazy, interesting, and excitable weird things. Like a unicorn with a cork on its horn.
Well,
I'm
he is
still
battling.
I'm still deciphering that mystery.
Really?
No.
Okay.
We have our famous warrior, the Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Greetings, YouTube viewers and my fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. And today we are back with another episode of Animation Spotlights discussing Season 2 of X-Men 1992.
We have the ever so lovely Leia Valor, Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady of Valor, and get ready for our discussion of the classic X-Men TV show 92, Season 2. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Let's get down to who has seen all of it and who has yet to finish it and who has not even touched it yet. Show of hands. Who has seen it?
Me, I have seen all of it.
I've seen it.
Overachievers. No, I'm kidding. I've seen all of it too. What about the two in the back?
I'm just about to get started watching Season 2, cause, hang on, I'll be right back.
I heard that Humble. You didn't turn your homework in. You didn't turn your homework in.
Oh my God.
Consider
Hey,
it more
man.
like half finished. I was busy doing other things and
Alright.
training for
You
job
got 9
stuff.
You got a 70% on your report card.
Hey
Damn
man,
good.
don't be don't be a spoiled winner.
Alright,
Okie dokie.
cause I'll explain why. Cause I just finished up Season 1, and I'm now about to get started with Season 2, because this was supposed to be for my birthday, but I finally got it, yesterday. All 5
Alright.
seasons.
Nice.
So I just watched through all of
Nice.
season 1
Nice.
tonight. I just watched through all of season 1 today, and I'm just now about to talk about season 2, but we're not talking about this right now. So,
Before
you're
we
right,
get into
I'm
that,
so far behind.
you know what? Before we even get into the season 2, let's hear your first impression of season 1 final. Real quick, briefly. Oh, I done put him on the spot. Now you're getting a little shy.
But do you have-
Shoot, I forgot my mic was turned. I forgot my mic was turned off. Sorry. It was a great season. It was so great. Though then again, I started to feel like I was starting to have this love-hate relationship with the X-Men when it started to go to season 6, albeit very briefly. It's when Wolverine started to run away, when Scott and Jean tried to check up on him, and then Scott, for no reason at all, just disses on Wolverine. I know Scott has always been much of a stick in the mud, but here he's just acting like an asshole.
As he
Like-
should be.
He's your teammate, and yet this is how you treat him like that? I know he's kind of an asshole, and Wolverine is very much of an asshole himself, and he's very much of a savage.
This is the first season, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully he's gotten over that now, because now he's starting to learn that, okay, now he's actually learning to work alongside the X-Men as a team, as he should, and I hope it stays like that, because, yes, I am not much of a big fan of this portrayal of Cyclops and Jean Grey, to which the better portrayals of Cyclops and Jean Grey are in X-Men Evolution.
I was in love with this portrayal earlier in the 92, but I do agree. I still prefer Evolution's portrayal of all the characters, and this is coming from somebody who's seen 92 before Evolution. I was there when Evolution launched. I was there when Evolution was announced, actually, and Evolution came right after the first. I think it came right after X-Men 1, the movie.
That's correct. Yeah, I was there too when Evolution made its debut too.
Yeah, it was still during the 2000s era of the Marvel cartoons, which there was actually 4 at that time.
And it was also during, well, not exactly. Wait, no,
Somewhere
actually, no.
around, like-
I take it back. No, it's
It was
also during
somewhere
that
around when the
time
MCU was
period.
just beginning.
Well, I mean, Evolution was occurring before the MCU even came to be. No, when Evolution made its debut, after the release of the first X-Men movie, it was also the same time period where Grant Morrison as well as Extreme X-Men by Claremont was occurring during that time period. Well, more so on Morrison's run.
Yeah.
Marvel shows as well as DC shows. The WB was a bedrock full of comic book animation. But let's get into season 2. So, final, you said you were impressed by the first season,
Uh-huh.
despite its flaws.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So, all right, first impressions on well, actually, no. Let's get to Humble real quick. Humble, how far did you get to season 2?
About okay, I skipped around. I watched the beginning and then the last episode and then skipped around between. Oh boy, I think with the way Scott treated Wolverine and through all
Back
of
to
season.
Trolia. Did she say she skipped around?
Yes.
Yes.
You ain't they no. This is
You
this is
don't
not the
skip
part.
around.
This is not the part where you skip around. There are
No.
crucial episodes that tie into each other.
Why
Oh,
did you skip around?
Why would you skip around? There are no filler episodes in this season. Excuse
I
me.
know.
Well, they technically
Yeah.
are, but they
I've
coincide with
been
each
used
other.
to watching it and missing like the big episodes, so I just went with what I usually did.
Redo.
Pick the ones that were important.
Okay.
Next time, don't do that again.
Yes, please don't.
Look, wherever you stop at going chronologically, that's where you stopped at. We're not gonna be angry with you if you do it. Please do not skip past no episodes. You're
However,
not gonna follow anything we're gonna say throughout this
However,
stream.
we will roast you.
Then consider me well done.
I love Humble Spirit. May no tragedy ever befall upon her. Stay innocent. And Kooky. So let's get into fresh impressions of the second season. Let's start with you, Dom.
Well, season 2 is an example of how to do a season and in essence a sequel right by improving on the weakest areas from first season, while also enhancing on the series' strength.
Leia.
I think they upped the ante, and I guess this sounds like we're done, but I think I like how they upped the ante in season 2. I liked that the storylines got better, and I believe if my memory serves this right, I like how we were delving into the individual stories of each X-Men character. Those were really good to see who they are. But
Correct.
I actually like the way yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of that. But most of all, I liked how they stepped up a notch, and also getting to know some of the enemies of the X-Men as well, and some of their stories. Because I don't have my DVD in front of me because I was going to try to pick out particular episodes. Final, if you have yours out, but I like that. I think they took it up a notch in season 2. So I really do
Wow.
appreciate that.
Since you watched it final, what were your first impressions in season 2? Since you're fresh into this.
I mean, I just finished all of season 1 and I'm just about to get started on season 2.
What little you scratched into it?
I'm just saying I'm about to get into that. I didn't get started watching it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yes, it's in.
Moving on.
Because I just watched all of season 1.
We'll get back to you when we get to season 3. Humble, for the amount you skipped around, what were your impressions?
Unlike other love triangles I've seen in many romance books, Wolverine does not skip around in kicking Scott's butt.
Damn it! You had one job and you screwed it up. Cyclops still being an asshole, and yet they're still going on with this love triangle bullshit with
It
Jean
makes
Scott
sense
and
in
Wolverine.
context.
No,
We're gonna get into it.
it
Yeah.
reaches its conclusion, and the tables turn. Wolverine decides to pay Scott back.
But I love
What the
how
hell is
Rogue
this?
was written. I love how Rogue was written in season 2. I think that's when Rogue became one of my favorite characters in this season. I have to be very honest.
For me, it is definitely a step above the first season. It's unfortunate that X-Men does not have the gravitas that Batman animated series had when its first season, moving on to later seasons. That's a rocky start for that series compared to the animated series of Batman. But yeah, you get the sense of there's some course correction, proper course correction, mind you. The character focus episodes are the heart of the season specifically. They're the backbone of the season because you get to get the insights of the mutants, the X-Men themselves, and what they're going through, what they're dealing with, their personal fears, their personal problems, or their personal regrets, especially with Rogue and Beast. Especially
Yes, yes.
Goodness gracious, I wish Janelle was with us today because I'm pretty sure she'll be geeking the hell out of this season. But I'm gonna keep focused. Another thing, as you guys said, the villains were better handled here in season 2 than they was in season 1. Season 1 was mostly their introductionary period. This is where they go all out with these characters, especially our standout villain, Mr. Sinister, and a brand new player entering onto the board, Morph. We get to see what happened to Morph in the previous season, in this particular season, which
Especially
Which is
after
originally
the
a
two-parter
center-
till death do us part.
Yeah, because in the original, in Night of the Sentinels, he was killed by the Sentinels trying to save Wolverine's life.
Oh, you get to see it. You get to see it. Oh my goodness, you get to see it. It is
But
brutal.
now he has come back to life, and now this time under the threat. Now actually is a threat to the X-Men under the manipulation of Mr. Sinister.
Correct.
And also, just as a friendly reminder, Morph is not an original creation of the TV show. He is actually a character from the Marvel Universe who started out as an enemy but became an ally and member of the X-Men who went by the name Changeling. However, the showrunners had to change his name to Morph due to his name being already used by Beast Boy of Teen Titans when he went through his character evolution and changed his life codename to Changeling.
Oh, that's why he was called that.
That pesky
Yeah.
copyright situation back in them days.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah,
always.
I also like the fact, like you said, I like the fact that we got villains other than the other hatred the X-Men had to deal with from humans. We also got to see some of the other mutants that are rivals, that are
Well,
enemies
not
to
to-
them, and like one of them.
Well, not to mention with X-Men 92, it wasn't just adapting. I mean, the Dave Cockrum, Len Wein, and John Byrne and Chris Claremont run of the X-Men, but also the Lee and Kirby one, where you see that not all humans have a fear or hatred or misplaced hatred towards mutants, as you actually see civilians who are supportive of the X-Men as well as the mutants in general. I mean, especially
as
after the
evidence
event,
from Moira McTaggart in the first season.
as well as some Boulevard Trask turning over a new leaf, which is reminiscent of what happened to him in the comics. But unlike his comic book counterpart, he was able to live on and became an ally towards the X-Men, along with Senator Kelly, who then eventually became president.
Right.
Yeah, it's very true. Okay.
Which of course, like because of Kelly's like change of heart, that obviously rubbed the Friends of Humanity the wrong way.
I do love that duel's part, the 2-part, mostly because of two things. The Nasty Boys' constant use of "whoa."
Only you would come up with that.
No, that's actually their. It's the same recycled sound. First, it was.
Yeah,
with,
I mean-
as a kid, when I heard them say that, that was like the most highlighted moment of my life. It's like when I think his name is Handsome Johnny tries to wrap himself around Rogue and she spins like real fast. And he just goes, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And then,
No, I didn't mean you
and
come
then-
up with it, but remember that.
and then
Also, the Nasty Boys have been a rather consistent factor, like in Mr. Sinister's circle, besides the Marauders.
and they're a big threat too, through and through, despite them getting their asses handed to them as well. But they're still a threat regardless. But Racket as well, he even goes, "Whoa!" He gets tossed by. I forgot who tosses him. I think it was Beast that tosses him.
It was Beast.
Mhm.
He just straight grabs
Also-
it, says an eloquent badass quote, and just tosses it. You go, "Whoa!"
Just also just keep in mind, people, like
no scream, nada. They just go, "Whoa!"
Wolf would know those little details. Do
And
you want to go by?
of course, speaking of badass lines, there's Cyclops' line to Sinister. "So, you like to play God with mutant lives? Well, just keep away from my friends." No! What is happening? Just blast the fucker out. Blast the fuck out of his ass. Oh, man, as a kid, when I saw Cyclops just fucking vaporizing Sinister bit by bit, atom by atom, like, yeah, get that fucker. It's just,
I mean, keep
can't
in
tell.
mind, people, that his optic blasts are not heat; they're concussive force.
Yet somehow they can vaporize his ass, can stop his healing factor short for a while. It was
Well,
interesting.
it projected a strong force that it did tons of damage to Sinister, which to this day I will give 92 credit for really doing Nathaniel Essex justice by really zeroing in on his demonic demeanor from the comics, even though he's not a demon himself, but a mutated human.
Oh yeah, he's the unique one out of the bunch. Which at first season we had the Juggernaut, who is absolutely not a mutant, but powered by
Mhm.
space magic.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Because there's a stone. There's a
not
stone
space
hidden in his
magic,
helmet.
not space magic, just magic.
Yeah, because there's a stone hidden in his helmet.
Yeah,
Still come from space.
which is connected to an entity named Sidorak.
It still comes from space.
It's not space magic.
It's space
It's
from
still
above
magic.
in the stars. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen to have magic. It is space magic. Okay.
I said, let's just get going.
But now we
Well,
got
just-
Sinister, who is a human playing a mutant.
Great, so we got another genocidal mutant besides Apocalypse.
Oh no.
Great.
With Nathaniel, he's not a genocidal mutant. He's a mad scientist eugenics from the 1800s who turned himself into a mutant. You know, but he's still a mutated human.
No, his plan is not to eradicate all life on the planet. He just wants mutants to go far beyond. That's why the Nasty Boys are the way they are. They're freaking monstrously grotesque due to his experiment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Handsome John. He's basically a tar man, living tar. Racket when he screams, he just looks malformed. You know. Hairbag. Is that his name? Hairbag.
Yeah.
He's a hairy man, Jamaican man with bad breath. Literally,
Like
it's a killer.
like I said, with Essex, he's a mad scientist eugenicist from the 1800s. Whereas with Apocalypse, he's a social Darwinist who's also an immortal, but he's an immortal mutant. Whereas with Sinister, he's an immortal human mutate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to get into the mutates a bit too. We're not going episode by episode, Led. Just to answer your earlier question that you didn't get a chance to ask. We're going to do like what we did last season. We just taking highlights from each episode and just talk about them.
We can also talk about the differences between like the show as well as the source materials, i.e., the comics.
Right, which they pulled from. You want to go ahead? Final, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing. As I was watching season 1 and just realizing about this with season 2, there's at least two cameo appearances for Deadpool. The first was in the one episode where we first meet Sabretooth for the first time, when Charles Xavier was entering his mind and trying to figure out the reason behind his monstrousness. And we see Deadpool's face in there. And here, where we see Morph again, he then suddenly transforms into Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So we got two cameo appearances of Deadpool, and so at least Deadpool does exist in this world, but we never actually get to really see Deadpool as to who he really is, which kind of leaves me no wonder as to why.
X-Force. X-Force is why. Because they were still doing X-Force, and they still hadn't had no way of writing Deadpool at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cable even came from X-Force as well, and Cable is in this series.
Well, technically, the new mutants came. It was because of the new mutants where it transitioned into X-Force.
Right. So there's your answer, final.
Right.
A lot of things were still like either in their infancy or were still being constructed around that time. like everybody was a lot of heroes were getting rewrites of their origin stories. A lot of villains were also getting rewrites of origin stories for better or for worse. They were.
I mean, not all of them were rewrites. More of
structure.
reveals and developments.
Be right back. Y'all keep talking.
Okay.
Well, our fearless leader is
Oh.
currently indisposed. What are your all's favorite episodes from season 2?
If I'll start, I'm going off by memory because I don't have the DVD in front. Final, do you say do you have the DVD in front of you for season 2?
Oh yeah, I have all 5 seasons.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope my memory serves me correctly, but one of my favorite episodes is A Rogue's Tale. That's one of my favorite episodes because
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think that is one of the best ones of that season. It's just the whole structure of the story of Rogue, and of course, Captain Marvel is in that episode, and
Yeah,
yeah,
Miss
and
Marvel.
just when it-
Miss
Ms.
Marvel.
Marvel.
Miss
Ms.
Marvel.
Marvel,
But
Ms.
it's the
Marvel,
cliff notes
correct me.
of her. It's the cliff notes of her encounter, though. It's not.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
it's also
Yeah, I
an
understand.
adaptation like of an was very rather significant issue of Miss Marvel, where she had her encounter with Rogue, Mystique, and the rest of the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. Because Carol Danvers has quite the history with the X-Men. Hell, she even served in the military alongside Wolverine at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's a shame
all-
that the shame we never got any X-Men cameos, or let alone a Wolverine cameo in the Incredible Hulk animated series, which we will talk about that sometime
Okay.
in the future. We
Mhm.
definitely will be talking about that.
Yeah.
Because
Though they did get
another thing to keep
they
in
did get a
mind.
cameo appearance for one episode of '94 Spider-Man.
Well, not just a cameo; there were guest stars.
Complete
Yeah.
guest stars. This is when they were getting to the whole crossover stuff later on in the 90s.
Yeah.
Well, even in Spider-Man '94, he references not just the Fantastic Four, but also the Avengers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They
Well,
exist.
so you know, yeah,
They need to mention
so you know that
So
the
I probably
Marvel
would've
anime
been-
universe was actually taking cues. He was like, oh, the Marvel universe, like from its publication in in-universe history from the '60s all the way to at the time the present, aka the '90s.
Yeah. I thought it still would have been so cool for Spider-Man to have a crossover with the Fantastic Four, because Spider-Man is very close to the Fantastic Four. He's even very close friends to the Human
along with the X-Men
Torch.
too.
Yeah, he is
Yes, he
also very
is.
close friends to the Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
And hasn't he had interactions with the X-Men, Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's had some. Because I did like that. I'm not going to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
on it,
yeah.
but I did like when they appeared on his show. I thought those
More
were
on
cool
that
episodes.
when we cross that bridge.
Yeah,
More
we
on
get
that when we
that.
cross that bridge.
Yeah.
But a
Yeah,
rogue
but
story.
as for Rogue's Tale, it was a major not major Rogue story, yes, but it was also a major Mystique story as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you on both of them, and it was very emotional to watch. Even when I was watching that, I'm like, wow, I really felt that. That was emotional. It's what great animation should be. It's written in a way that kids can get it. I'm sure
Let
some of
me
you are
answer
younger, some of you
your
are
star's
watched it, and
question right here.
yeah.
So Rogue Azor Miss Marvel, strength and flight powers. Never mind her durability. She got that too. I get that, but somehow she didn't get the energy attacks.
Her
I can
energy
answer that.
power.
I can answer that because Kree.
Okay.
The Kree.
Because Kree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's tied to her Kree biology. Granted, she should be able to get everything, regardless of what the Kree, wherever the specimen
Well,
she touches.
Well, the Psyche Magnetron, that was affected. That was affected when Marvel had that battle with one of the Kree sentries. It's because once she was affected by by the rays of the Psyche Magatron because she looked up to Marvel. So like it grafted his Kree DNA onto hers.
Right. But
Very
yeah,
true.
to answer your question, because Kree. That's the only thing I can say. Because Kree. Kree DNA does weird shit.
And of course, this was all before the nonsense with how Marvel's been recently handling Carol by making her a natural human Kree hybrid instead of an artificial one through an accident.
Oh god, the way how they treat superpowers these days. We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
get into
But the
that.
point, but the point is, like they streamline on Rogue and Carol's encounter in the animated incarnation of the Marvel Universe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
let's
likes
expand on
Rogue's
her,
first outfit.
As well as expand upon her rather complicated relationship with her stepmom Mystique, because it's already hinted at in season 1, where
Mm-hmm.
she was originally about to be the slave to Apocalypse, which was originally supposed to be the mutant cure, because yes, they adapted the mutant cure storyline in that season.
Yeah.
But then she did that as a way to try to get Rogue back, which I was like, okay, I get one part that you want your daughter back, but no matter how much you love someone, even if it's your family, that's still wrong.
That the thing is, she doesn't really love Rogue. She just want Rogue in her thrall. You gotta remember, Mystique is not necessarily a complicated woman when it comes to loving her children. It's just the fact that it's plain as day. She's a very abusive parent.
Mm-hmm.
She loves only herself. She's basically Cersei from Game of Thrones. For a close analogy, she's Cersei. She loves her children because the children are the image of herself, or at least she views them as an image of herself. And in the case of Rogue and later on Nightcrawler, it's not a spoiler. Best of both worlds there. One redhead, one blue face twip. I kid, like he's not twip, he's cool.
Granted, in season one, like it's like instances of scientists that are trying to develop ways to dampen the mutant X gene line to make it a cure. I feel like that has happened before, but this was obviously years before or the cure storyline from Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run. Because in the past, it has been flirted with every now and then.
Oh, why did I... Right. I don't know why that story has ever crossed my mind.
It could be the Mandela effect.
Oh.
Well, I agree with everything everyone's saying, but I just think of that episode. It's just the most emotional one. The torture she had of having Miss Marvel's conscious in her head, how it triggers her memories, and her consciousness starts to haunt her. It has to haunt her so desperately. Jean. Yeah, I like how, I also liked how they had Jean to come in to help her, and it shows why Jean was so valuable to the X-Men. That the X-Men need almost like this therapist type of person to come and help her out. I did like.
I was going to correct her on what we said in the last season's stream, where we said that Jean was useless. She's not entirely useless when it comes to powers.
She isn't. Yeah,
for sure. Well, the thing is, you can attribute that as her still mastering her abilities. In one instance where she has to say start just distracting me. What reference? But you can attribute that as her probably having a lack of confidence in herself, not realizing how powerful her telekinesis and telepathy is in comparison to say Xavier. Or you could just still say that she's still trying to learn how to get better at it, only thing is that she's mostly AWACS half the time, and that's what she was doing while Professor. Speaking of, Professor X was AWOL.
Yes.
You know, she
Yes.
was mostly communications. She ran communications and she hardly ever goes on field duty, so they hardly ever trained her. So if I would say if Janelle was here, I would say that it's not a fault on Jean herself. It's the fault of the X-Men why she is the way she is. You know?
I get what you're saying, but I also think her abilities are still valued in a team like the X-Men. You still need that member or that person to try to keep the humanity in you, no matter what member of the X-Men you are. And I admire that trait about Jean Grey. It may not be the most spectacular, it may not be the strongest, and it may not make her as powerful as maybe the Storm or Rogue or the other characters. But I do like the fact that she has that empathy about her, and that of course, I think this goes with her mutant powers and her abilities, that she has the empathy. She can feel their pain. She can feel when they're hurt. She can feel when they're confused. She can feel when they're anger. And because of that ability, she is able to help them to try to overcome it. And I still think that is important. I still think it may not be the biggest quality, but I still think it's important in there. In season 1, she was the one that put this hypnotic thought into Juggernaut to try to get him calmed down. Now, I personally think that's a very powerful mutant power to have myself. So I do agree. You do make a good point, Wolf. But I also think you need some of that, and I think this episode did show why you do need her mutant abilities, Jean Grey's mutant abilities,
Yeah,
because she had to get inside.
yeah, because she's always played.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead,
even
Brennan.
in the first appearance run of the X-Men, Jean Grey has always been playing as the role of the team mom.
Mm-hmm. And I think you need a character that is like that. You have to have one in a group that is like that. You have to have the team mother. You have to have the team mom in there, as you put.
I'm
Even when
speaking
she had,
more of
yeah,
her being an underdog among the powerhouses,
Right.
in particular. And she really the show does in this particular season itself does go out of its way to show how far she's coming along when it comes to her abilities and her skills. So it's not it like I said, we made the joke, or Janelle was being completely serious in the last season, but I was half joking. But seeing this season currently, I was like, huh, I kind of half judged Jean a little bit too harshly
Mhm.
because
And
there's
to be fair,
some value to.
Yeah.
And to be fair, didn't something like that kind of happen to Jean Grey in X-Men Evolution, where she was trying to where she later grows to where she gets her powers much more stronger as the series goes on?
Mm-hmm.
Evolution Gene is a bit more proactive than 92 Gene. However, her powers, you are correct, her powers were still developing and still getting better. But but even then, like I said, she was way more proactive. Hell, I was dare I say it, she was a league bit above 92 Gene, because I'm referencing a scene, uh, ironically, a road focused episode, by the way, her debut episode, mind you. There was a scene where they had to rescue Storm out of a sticky situation. At that point, Rogue has Storm's powers, and she nearly flooded I think it was a cemetery that they were in at the time. No, they were near power cables, and one of the power cables collapsed, and they had to get Storm out of the water before one of the cables fall into the puddle of water, or near the lake of water. And Jean lifted her, Cyclops, and Storm from above water, high above water, and that's her at base level 1. By the way,
Mhm.
that's in fact, dare I say it, that's 92 gene in evolution gene, and she's doing that without struggle, and without the moans. But that was one thing that impressed me about gene and evolution. And oh my god, we can go on and on about evolution. And again, I want to hear Janelle's take on evolution.
Focus,
She hasn't seen it yet.
people.
She hasn't seen it yet, but again, going back to Jean in '92, I judged her too harshly. I'm taking back what I'm saying about her in the previous season stream to now. It's like she's actually pretty good. It's just that I think there's been, if you got off topic, have you guys been catching videos where people take compilations or pieces of media and misrepresent the scene that they come from?
Yep.
Sure. I
Yeah.
see it all the time.
Yeah, I've seen them before.
More on that sometime later when we get into maybe another Real Millennials episode or Chill Stream episode. I got a problem with that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Just taking
Mhm.
specific scenes and yet taking it out of context.
yeah, there's one
Well,
particular where they have Gene is useless episodes or compilation totally out of context.
Wolf, I can assure you, in a future episode of the Real Millennials, we will be talking about the state of media literacy.
Yeah.
I always defended her, even
But-
during X-Men '92. Everyone always says useless. I said I don't think she's not useless at all. I think she's very valuable. I think she's very valuable to the team in her own way, and I sort of like that.
She
I
was
don't
never
think
my
she was
favorite mutant or favorite
Mhm.
X-Men, but
Mhm.
every time when she shined, I gave her props. Even when she flubbed a few times, she's allowed to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's like you're basically saying that none of the other big hitters failed. Wolverine failed a lot of times, especially during the season. Like there's been most cases where he gets his ass handed to him, especially the Omega Red episode. The what's the title called again?
Shoot, I forgot to.
You
I
haven't
forgot
seen
the
the
title of
season,
it,
dude.
but I
I've
know
been
what you're
looking up the
talking about.
episodes.
I know what you're talking about.
I got him here. Hang on. Red Dawn.
Mm.
He gets his ass handed to him a lot in that episode, and rightfully so. It's Omega Red, who
Mhm.
I would say is one of my favorite Wolverine rivals ever since his debut appearance in this episode. I mean, the terror he inflicts upon Mother Russia and scaring off the communist regime and trying to restore the Soviet Union. It's also one of the best Colossus episodes because Colossus makes a return in this episode.
Mhm.
You can even play a drinking game during this episode too. Take a shot every time they speak of the Soviet Union. Take a shot every time they speak of revolution. Take a shot every single time you hear Peter says his sister's name. Ilyana! 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 Ilyana!
Yeah, and
Ilyana!
I even saw like one comment in the compilation where it's basically was saying that Jean Grey is useless, like saying she's pretty much just being that useless just so Ro could shine in. Just what? Just what?
Rogue always had her back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
And yet you're just doing that as an just by saying Jean being useless just so Ro could shine in, because I know-
she don't need that. She never needed somebody to step aside for her to be cool. Her debut scene in episode 1 says it right there. First big fuck all robot shows up. You know what she fucking does? She slugs at one.
Yeah.
And what this Storm says? Storm has a way with men.
Rogue has a way with men. Yeah, that's
Excuse
what she
me.
makes.
Rogue has
Yeah,
a way
Rogue.
with men.
Rogue. That's what make with men. Yeah.
I'm hyper. Half the time, I'm saying shit out of my mouth and I don't realize what I just said.
That's okay. That's okay. A lot of people do, but I would always defend her too. I would say, maybe she wasn't meant to be as powerful as Storm or as strong as Rogue, but she does play a part. So I wouldn't totally dismiss her because, I think on every team such as that, you need a character like Rogue.
I'm gonna say something right now to shut this shit
like
down
Jean Grey.
immediately. Without Jean, they wouldn't be able to find half the motherfuckers they be looking for in these damn episodes. So there.
Well, again, not just in the anime adaptations, but also
Yeah,
in
and
the
also
books as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
because there's a reason why she's been in there since the very first appearance of the X-Men, since what is it,
1963.
63? Yeah, 63.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
also like, with X-Men 92, they were taking cues from X-Men Volume 2, with Jim Lee and Claremont before the latter left, as well as Lee when he left with the others that not only became the Image Seven, but led to the creation of Image Comics. But after they left, Waddell and Byrne came into the picture to continue like where the previous creators like left off for X-Men and Uncanny X-Men respectively, and in X-Men Volume 2, that's when Omega Red like made his debut, and when he made his first appearance, there was like the creative team did a good job in establishing how terrifying of a villain he is. Is because besides his
Yes.
coils, his mutant ability of exuding a death aura, what makes him a very deadly opponent, which you should never underestimate. Of course, since this is X-Men 92 and this show was made for kids but also adults, they couldn't make his powers like one to one from the source material because, well, again,
Yeah,
kids.
you can't really say death in a kid show, even though
I,
there's a
I,
lot
I,
of
Well, however, they did keep his life draining ability.
yeah.
Well, I do agree with you. He's one of the deadliest villains of the X-Men. I absolutely have to agree with that. I
Yeah, I was
really
about to
do.
well,
say-
the thing is, what's crazy about X-Men 92, now that you're bringing up the word kill not being used that much in the 90s cartoon, they say it a lot. This like just as much
I meant
as,
the
as
word
Batman.
death.
Same thing. They use the word death in X-Men 92. Same thing with Batman animated series. You'd be very surprised at how many shows out there during the 90s said the words kill and death. It
Oh
was
no, I remember. No, what I'm getting at is it was like they could like the animated series couldn't really utilize Omega Red's the powers to its full extent as in the
Right.
comics.
right. Well, shit. They couldn't even use Syracuse rapey side either in this show.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, that scene where he manhandles Jubilee in the first season, I was like, oh god, don't touch her anywhere you ain't supposed to be touching. Don't you dare touch her in any place that you ain't supposed to be touching. I know your history, motherfucker.
Well,
And that's a
Also-
little girl. She barely legal. You better get your hand off of her.
But also,
Yeah.
again, he started out and he remained made a member of Danny Rand, Iron Fist's Rogues Gallery.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
the
started
reason why-
out as an Iron Fist villain before he became a recurring enemy of the X-Men, especially towards Wolverine.
Yeah, but the reason why I was about to say that hardly any other shows brought up any other kid shows even mention the word death. Side tangent because it's not related to X-Men, but it's more so related to
Mhm.
a very future Power Rangers season, Power Rangers Dino Charge, when they brought up the Dark Energem and didn't bring up Death Yuger from the Zuiden Sentai Kyoryuger summer movie. even though they brought him back a lot later, which they should
Mm.
have done before. But that's besides the point. We're talking
That
about
was
X-Men.
coming in
But
a
anyway,
time where even Deathstroke couldn't even keep his name. Instead, they called him Slade. Yet they
Yes.
called
Hmm.
Killer Moth.
Yeah.
I guess
Which
kids'
which
shows
I
are
won't, I
pretty
won't
wishy-washy
give
when
Teen
it
Titans.
comes to more darker subject matters such as death.
Well,
At
when the
least with those
2000s came
reports.
about, like they became more loose with the whole thing.
Mm.
Well, not loose, but more relaxed, like of actually showcasing death like in animation.
Mm.
Well, no, I take that back. I mean, we have seen characters die before, we just didn't see the blood.
Right.
Right. I also liked maybe deviating a little bit, but I do like the episodes that we see more of her affection for Gambit. She was fighting him at first, but in the second season she was slowly submitting to his
Well,
charms, and I kind of
well,
like that,
I
especially
Well,
mean, not just
the
admitting,
a
but more like
flirty
admitting.
southern, a flirty southern belle, and yet suddenly falling for a flirty Cajun.
well, at first she was like, but stay away, you will live in a coma. But Gambit kept coming on and coming on, and then when they
Yeah, because he's
went
very
down.
smitten with Rogue.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's very true. It's no denying. Yeah, he's got the hots for Rogue. I'm just going to say it like
I
that.
mean,
He
I know
does. He
Gambit's always
goes
been a
after
ladies'
her.
man, but he has eyes for Rogue, special eyes for Rogue.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does. You're right. He had the hots for her. It was showed in every episode. He's
Sorry,
flirting
his
with
name is
her.
not Handsome John. It's Gorgeous George. My bad, guys.
It's okay.
Well, since we brought up Gambit, let's talk about Externally Yours.
I like that
Oh
episode.
yeah.
That's the episodes I'm talking about. I like Externally
Another
Yours.
drinking game episode, I like to call it.
Oh
Oh my
man.
goodness.
Yeah, because this is where we first see Rogue's backstory with her run-in with Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, and now we
That's
actually see Gambit's origins.
yeah,
Hmm.
being part of the Thieves Guild, a family of thieves versus the Assassins Guild,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which,
apparently
once again, it's another adaptation. Once again, it's another adaptation from from Volume Two of X-Men. So because like Gambit, he was part of Blue Team along with Rogue. However, there are notable key differences between what happened in that storyline where we start to learn more about Gambit and his backstory, like with the Thieves Guild, along with his connection with the Assassins Guild. Well, that was adapted. However, there things changed, such as him and the relationship of his first love Belladonna,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the adaptation of the benefactress of both the Thieves and Assassins Guild, which is the external. However, in the comics that is actually Kendra. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
she serves as the benefactress of both guilds, where she gives them like some of her powers to enhance their own.
Mm-hmm.
However, Kendra in the comics, she's a blonde. She's a blonde, not only blonde and white, but also she belonged to a subspecies of mutants known as the Externals, who are not only mutants, but they are immortals after experiencing their first death.
Very true. Thanks for that backstory. I was just going to say that she should have been resisting Gambit at that point, but when she saw Belladonna want to get her Gambit back, oh, you can see the green eyes of Rogue.
Okay,
Rogue was not
now
having that.
that is another difference because in the source
Yes,
material,
she did.
Belladonna, she was not a scorned, vindicated ex lover or of Gambit. Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, no one, both her and Remy, like they started out as childhood friends, and they did fell in love and actually considered marrying each other because their marriage would actually put an end to the feud between the assassins and thieves guilds respectively. However, that choice was taken from them from by their elders. However, due to extraneous circumstances, since they couldn't really be properly wed and be a fulfilled couple, so they had to split up. However, Belladonna doesn't hold that against Remy. And the show, on the other hand,
Oh
they
boy.
use her into the opposite of a comic book counterpart.
Oh boy.
Oh
We got
yes,
some. We get some character drama.
oh
Yes, we do.
yeah,
And I
a
love the fact that
lot.
a lot of it. I like the fact
And a
that
lot of times for the worst, because I freaking hate that love triangle between Jean, Cyclops, and Wolverine.
Save it, man. And And now, for those of you who are seeing, yes, this is Kendra, aka the External from the animated series. However, you notice some differences between the two.
Oh, a big difference. It's a
Particularly
bit.
the
I was
hair.
about to ask.
Not from the color of the hair length. Because she was even teased in the season 1 when they were scanning for Gambit's mind in the final episode of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, who is this Bella? This is the external. This is not the woman in.
No,
the
no, no,
episode.
no. That's not Belladonna. No,
Okay, all right.
this is Kendra. Kendra, or in the anime series they call her the External.
Journal. Oh, okay. Well, the big difference there. Okay, all right. I get it now. Okay, yeah. I was just going to say also that I like that Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Rogue are in this episode, and again, you needed Rogue in this. I mean, not Rogue. Jean Grey was very useful in this episode a lot.
Well, shit.
Not
She's
She
also.
was
not to
very
mention-
episode. She was very
Not to
helpful
mention,
in this.
she was instrumental of preventing the total extermination of the Thieves Guild because
Yes.
animated Belladonna wants to get rid of them for good.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, you're right about that. It's a good episode overall because we get to see the backstory of Gambit since he's so mysterious with the X-Men. But as I say before, and this may be petty, I didn't mean to bring on it, but it does show that Rogue starts to care for Gambit.
Or at
She
least,
does really start to,
or revealing the feelings that she had for Remy for a while, but she didn't want to admit it.
Yeah, she didn't want to admit it, but it comes out in this episode. It comes out in this episode a lot because she's learning about Gambit as well as we are and everybody else is because there's not a lot she knows, but now she's trying to sift through all the mystery of Gambit in this episode, which does make it a good one. Plus, not just the love triangle or their romance, but also him dealing with the assassins and the thieves.
The tithe.
Yeah,
You got to deal with the
Yeah.
tithe.
also,
The tithe.
so like again, like in Remy's past, like him and Belladonna, like.
Oh, I thought Don wanted to say some more before I get into it. What was I going to say? Yeah, the tie. and
Drinking game.
yes.
Every time they mention the tithe.
So every time they mention the tie, you played the drinking game with it.
Every time, take a
Uh-huh.
shot. Every time they mention the tithe, take a shot. They say tithe a lot in this
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
Oh my god! If you survive that drinking game, bless your heart. For number one, number two, you have a strong ass stomach.
Well, not just the stomach, but the liver as
and a
well.
boulder. I was about to get to there. In a boulder built liver. That's what I meant
Well,
to
you
say.
had to. Mm-hmm. You had to with that episode. I see what
But
you
also, is the original storyline from X-Men Volume 2 showcase why New Orleans, Louisiana.
life because you faded out. I didn't hear what you said. You said about life in Louisiana for Gambit.
No, like, well, the point from X-Men Volume 2, as externally yours from Season 2 of X-Men, it showcased not just Wormy's backstory, but also the reason why he never wants to go back to Louisiana.
Oh yes, yeah, it does. I do see that at
A
the
lot of
end.
backstabbing, lot of treachery in the game, in the way how the game is played. He got sick of it all.
Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned, there's lots of character drama.
Speaking
But then
of
that's-
which,
I mean, so much character drama, even soap operas will be acid.
Well, soap operas wish they could be something like that. Hell, they could
So
even
this-
dream about having so much character drama from Final Fantasy IV.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is the external on the show.
Yes,
Okay.
that's Kendra.
Oh, major difference.
Big major difference. I didn't know that. I thought that's what she looked like, and now you've given me the truth. I'm like, oh, okay, well, huh?
back when race swapping wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah, because like I said, why could they just leave her like the way she was in the comics? That picture, because she looks cool right there. She looks really cool. Why could they just leave her
And come to
like
find
that?
out, she also looks like this in the comics somewhere.
Oh, well, I guess what a big deal, but they could have left her the way she was because her way she looked in the comics was pretty cool to me.
Who playing with some
But
frogs right now?
That ain't me.
Who?
Not
Only
me.
thing on is my
I heard frogs.
I only think I did too, and it's not me. I just have my. I better not be no frogs where I'm at. I'm just doing my
Who playing
fans. and I
Legend of
don't-
Zelda Ocarina of Time?
That's not
That
me.
ain't
Sounds
me.
like
I
Frogger.
thought that was you.
There's
I thought that was you,
there's
Wolf.
literally nothing on my TV besides my computer.
That sure shit ain't me.
there- Humble.
What?
You got a confession to
But,
make?
but
No.
as much as we,
I just
as
realized.
much as we, as much as we want to talk, we'll continue gushing over the major highlights of X-Men 92 Season 2 and how it improved upon the series of resolving its weaker areas. Because we also need to go over the fact that with each episode, they play a role or two in the narrative, like with the Professor X and Magneto, respectively. Because throughout Season 2, we see how the X-Men conduct themselves without the guidance of Charles.
That was the strength
Yeah.
of the season.
Yeah, I have
Now,
to
what
agree
the
with that.
hell
That's what-
is now? What the hell Humble's trying to say?
Nothing at the moment. I'm just listening to you guys talk.
So you're not the culprit with the frogs.
I
No.
don't have any.
You sound disappointed. It's like, for once, it's not me, and I'm disappointed that it's not me.
I'm sorry,
I'll
Humble.
miss
I
you
thought it
for
was you
another
at first
time.
because she was quiet. That's why I said, Humble. Do you have a little friend that you want to tell us about? But she
no,
said the
I
frogs are
don't
not
have
hers.
any frogs.
Or unless if there's already tree frogs going on.
Yeah, it's strange because I certainly don't.
Because usually tree frogs are kind of loud from where I'm at.
Are you by a bayou? He's usually the one that's in a public area when we talk.
Yeah.
I don't think he is this time whenever we're actually streaming.
Oh, he's muted right now, so I'm gonna suspect him.
But
But he's right
He is-
though. It
Yeah.
is the biggest highlight of this season is them operating independently of Xavier, who speaking of which, is trapped with Magneto in the Savage Land, where we
Yes.
get to see the mutates later on. And of course, one of my favorite characters of that season, Kazar. And the reason why I like Kazar is because back then I was a huge fan of dinosaur media before Jurassic Park, long before Jurassic Park. There was what was the name in the land at that time forgotten? The Valley of the Dinosaurs, Mishi, or Baby Secret of the Lost Legend, all kind of dinosaur media. Land Before Time, the Flintstones specifically, and then there was Captain Caveman.
I like Captain Caveman. And the Teen Angels. I like that.
No,
I like that cartoon. One of my faves.
Thanks to the Marvel anime universe, I was introduced to Kazar, who is Marvel Comics' Tarzan. Well, he
We
is
will-
also Marvel's answer to Warlord from DC, which is Sword and
That was
Sorcery.
Kamandi.
Whereas with Kazar, it deals with action and adventure.
I thought it was Kamandi they were trying to emulate.
Well, it's a mixture of Commandy as well as Warlord. Well, because with Kazar, he was taken from his home to Savage Lands.
Yeah. Though we will talk about Mojoverse, or specifically Mojo Vision, when we get Janelle back, because we need to hear Janelle geek out about Mojo Vision. So we're going to say that for when she get back.
Okay.
Get your
What's the
headset
matter?
and safety
What's the
goggles
matter?
on
You
because
don't-
she's probably about to explode when that happens.
Yeah,
What's the matter? You don't want us to geek out on about how
Not
Series Channel, Mojo, Spiral, and Lock Shot?
Not without Janelle.
We know. That's
It
why I
ain't gonna
said.
hit.
That's why I
It's just
said.
not gonna hit
Get
right
on
without
your.
Janelle.
I know. That's why I said. Get on your headphones and safety glasses, and make sure you hide behind somewhere safe that's bomb-proof because she's about to explode.
Baby, I'm ready to blow. But like I said, it ain't gonna work without Janelle. We need Janelle. We sorely need Janelle for this one. And you guys better watch that episode. You Final and Humble.
And
We understand.
with
'Cause
Mojo
I'm,
Vision,
'cause
like
I'm trying to
they're
get into. Because I am watching through
no,
the
with
entirety of season.
Vision. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Dom. But I am watching through all of the 1992 X-Men because I'm trying to watch through all the 90s era Marvel cartoons.
Right.
And I think after this one, I still keep forgetting it's either Iron Man or Fantastic Four.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, okay.
Iron Man came before Fantastic Four.
Right, okay.
Like I
Because it was
said,
one of these
both
two that
me
came
and
after
Dom.
X-Men.
Let me look that up right now.
It was somewhere around 1994. We had 3 Marvel shows at that time besides X-Men that was going on, and they were trying out. I already pointed this out in the first season that later on they would try out different animation styles for X-Men '92 because they were already doing different Marvel shows at that
X-Men
time.
was afterwards because their animation was leagues better than Iron Man's and Fantastic Four combined. But I was wrong. I could be wrong. Give me a sec. Let me look this up.
I will say that Mojo Vision a lot of on the long shot miniseries as well as X-Men Volume 2 number 10, where both where all the X-Men including long shot like based off Mojo. Well, obviously they use them as inspiration to create an original story.
Oh, Iron Man was also okay. 94. And let's look at Fantastic Four. Wow, how the
Uh,
hell it got the inferior animation and it's 94? That should have been where it peaked.
I say the
Yeah.
the Mojo episode is fun. I do have to say that it's fun. Is it one of my favorites of the season? It's not one of my top
Also
favorites,
94.
but it
When did we
it
get-
is a fun it is a fun episode. It is. It is a fun
Okay, it's the
episode.
third. So
I
yeah,
won't-
you go Iron Man and then Fantastic Four final.
All right. So yeah, because going in chronological order when they were released, was X-Men came first in '92.
Yep.
And then was Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and then Spider-Man in 1994. 1996 comes around, we have the Incredible Hulk, then Silver Surfer in 1998, and then eventually Spider-Man Unlimited and Avengers United They Stand.
That's strange because Iron Man struck me as the first because of the way how it was animated. That was strange to me. Very strange. Interesting. But yeah, you were saying about Mojo Vision, Leia?
I think it's a fun episode. Is it my top 5 episode? I can't say. Honestly, no. I don't hate it, but it is fun to find out that in another universe, the X-Men are a form of entertainment for aliens. This creature has this TV network, and he's not getting anything interesting, and says, "Well, let's try these X-Men humans. They could really entertain us." But come to find out, the situations that they're put in, they look like shows, are really shows that they've got to really fight to save their life on if they don't come out of it. And again, Jean Grey has to come in and kind of step up. So there's another episode where Jean Grey does become very useful in the episode.
Yeah, she gets a shine. There was a game of that time during the 90s that involved the X-Men and Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. It should have been Spider-Man X-Men Mojo Vision. I think Mojo should have been the main villain in that game.
Oh.
It would explain a lot as to why every character was in a weird scenario. That's not to say Arcade's not capable of putting them in strange Saw-like scenarios. I just kind of feel like it should have been Mojo that did all this. Because in the game, if you play a Storm in the game, she has to swim throughout that level. It's a weird gameplay mechanic, especially when you have to stop to get air, or you have to use her lightning to in the water, mind you, to blast through walls. This is a
Right,
strange game.
because lightning and water totally mix well.
But
Yeah.
if it was Mojo Vision, it would make sense in context. This is Arcade we're talking about.
Right.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right,
saying,
yeah.
though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if it was Mojo, if it was Mojo Vision, yes, of course, it would work, because he'll make it work, no matter what. And I'm noticing that we're still talking about Mojo Vision. We need to stop right there and wait till Janelle gets back.
Right.
Well, you mentioned.
I'll give you my
And
thoughts.
that's totally
when
not
we
gonna
get there.
take very long, and that's totally not gonna be long when we get to season 3.
Yeah, we'll talk about.
No offense to you, Janelle, but it can be a bit much. I know you say you have an unhealthy obsession with X-Men, but it could be a bit much. Okay?
He's not wrong.
It just can be a bit much.
I will love you, but you gotta have temperance.
I'm so disgusted with y'all.
What?
For what?
Us? I think we've
Yeah,
been
I
pretty cool. We've been pretty
Y'all act like a
cool.
bunch of hypocrites up in here, acting like y'all never geeked out on anything so deeply and immensely as Janelle does with
I
X-Men. Y'all,
I don't have-
She admits that she derails conversations so easily.
I don't have a problem with her geeking out on X-Men because I love the show too. So
Look,
I
guys.
was geeking out.
look,
Leia
our fearless leader is pulling our
And
legs
that's
again as
already her
usual.
mutant power already. Just derailing
Look.
conversation.
Leia with
Does
her
our fearless
unhealthy.
leader really want me to geek out about the murder mysteries and stuff? Because
Yep.
that's actually instant
Humble with
ban
her.
from YouTube and stuff.
oh,
Humble with her oddities and eccentricities. Final with yours truly in his name. Dom with his dominess, and Leia with her unhealthy obsession with Captain America.
that is
Hello.
not unhealthy.
Now, that's not to
And
say
where do you get your name?
Yeah, that is not unhealthy.
Uh-huh.
That is true,
Uh-huh.
passionate love.
Uh-huh.
I love that man.
Yeah, you got your name from Macross. Hell, you talked about this show with Janelle twice on the show, and eventually you guys are gonna talk about Mospeada soon.
I know, but I'm saying y'all talking about something that's a bit much. Y'all want us to talk.
No, I
Just
didn't say
saying.
it was.
Just saying.
Well, wait, no, hold it up.
Hey.
Final was expressing himself. I don't have a
I know.
problem with her
I know.
geekness of X-Men. We all have our loves and
Neither
passions.
do I.
Because
I'm just messing with
I was-
him.
Look,
You know,
Leia, stop.
I mean,
Look,
am I
you're
not
only, you're only
wrong?
feeding.
Am I not wrong?
You're not
Not
wrong.
wrong.
However, as usual with our fearless leader, he's pulling our legs.
Yeah, he's playing with
As
us.
he always does. It's like,
Yes.
Look, to get back, get
I
things
was
back
gonna
on track because we're not gonna pull a Janelle of derailing things.
Yeah, because I was going to name some
The
more
point-
episodes for the season 2. I had some
yeah,
more.
it's
of them written down.
not just to offend you, Janelle. We love you, but it's just, it could be a bit much, okay?
Well,
Because that
Well,
love can also
eventually-
destroy you, okay?
eventually, with each of the individual character episodes, they do lead into all
Because
the X-Men,
believe
like
me,
finding location.
I started. Sorry, I keep cutting into you, Dom. Because believe me, I've been on this camp. I've been on this camp before, more than once.
Stop that! That is not the time.
Case
Final is
in
trying to-
point.
Is that your Ernie? Is that your Ernie laugh? That's more for your bird.
Yep. That's my- yep. You know where I got that from.
This
Getting
is not
back on track.
Dog. That is him.
I know,
Just
I know,
talked about
and he
everything.
gets-
I
I
think we
know.
talked about everything in season
I know,
of
Leah.
this season.
And he gets the spritz bottle. Well, with each of the individual episodes focusing on each members of the X-Men, they do eventually lead up to them finding Charles as well as Eric. As
Did
they
any of
find
you
out
guys
what,
shed
Or
a tear when that
Magnus,
happened?
rather.
Real
Because
quick.
yeah.
Real quick, did anybody shed a tear when they reunite with Xavier?
Yeah, I got misty eyed.
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
Real
I
quick, let me
did say
dive
no
deep into
Because
the mutates, specifically one of my favorite villains of the Savage Land, Sauron.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
god, his
No, that
he was
guy-
a Jack Kirby character, was he?
he looks like one.
Start talking about me.
No, he's a rather consistent antagonist of the Marvel universe, but more of a tragic one because he
Dude, Wolf is still laughing back there. Are you doing alright?
No, Neil Stars. I'm sorry, Dom. I want to continue because this is very interesting. You're saying I just saw Neil Star's comment. I was like, Neil Star, that me? She's seduced by the what? Oh, wait,
Oh
well,
yeah,
okay.
the Chris Evans picture.
He ain't
Or something
lying,
like that. Something like that. Yeah. I asked if
Go ahead.
yeah, if Marvel Sauron was a
Oh,
Jack
that's
Kirby
mine.
character, because I know how much Jack Kirby loves to draw in on certain mythologies. Especially with the Christian mythos that he would basically draw on for I think he drew that for the Celestials when he did the Eternals, and especially for the Inhumans. And as for Sauron, yes, of course, that's drawn from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Probably like the only source of Lord of the Rings that Marvel has drawn from. But I
Well,
could
Wait a
be
minute.
wrong.
he's called
Sauron.
Sauron because he's a half human, half dinosaur. Now explain his tragic story, Dom, real quick.
All right. As I was saying, like, the Marvel anime universe was like actually did a good job of adapting like his comic book origins for the anime series. Because for the most part, like he started out as a regular human, a scientist named Carl Lakos. However, he was taken, used as a guinea pig, and essentially he's been turned into a type of vampire where he has to drain energy from people just to stay alive. However, if he absorbs energy from a mutant, he transforms into Sauron. So you have a Jekyll and Hyde scenario.
Everybody got that? Good.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand. Yes, but in this season 2, we don't we meet Sauron, but we don't meet
Briefly.
the yeah briefly.
Briefly.
Yeah, briefly we
Yeah,
get
and
introduced to
well,
him.
as for how he became the way he is it's because Mr. Sinister used him as a guinea pig for his experiments.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I bet Mr. Sinister had something to do with it because some of the experiments are in the Savage Land. A lot of the people there that are
The mutates.
come from when he mutates. Yeah, thank you.
Well, not just
Mutates.
him, but also Magneto as well.
Yes,
Answer
that I
your
got.
question, Final. Well, Sauron, he was actually created by Roy Thomas and Neil Adams, and he made his appearance in X-Men number 59.
Oh, and yet where I'm looking up, it says he first appeared in X-Men number 60.
You're not wrong, because 59 is where his human identity, his physician Carl Lycos. He
Oh,
appeared as Sauron in like afterwards. Also,
okay.
I will say his origins is different from the comics because how he became the way he is he was bitten by a mutant pterodactyl, which transformed him into an energy vampire. Whereas,
Okay.
however, but they did get the part of him as an inhabitant of the Savage Land right. It's just his origins is different because in obviously in the animated series, how he became the way he was through Sinister.
Mm.
Right.
Also another key difference is animated Sauron doesn't possess the fire breath or sonic scream of his comic book counterpart.
I think he gets it later on when he comes back. The Sonic Scream, I mean. Or rather, actually, no. They demonstrate the extent of his powers in that one introduction where he takes Kazar's wife.
Mm.
He eye beams her into a trance.
But he seems
know
to
what
have
I'm
these.
talking
No wonder where he got that name.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I know it. He seems to have these powerful mind controlling powers because he gets into the mind of Xavier to lead the X-Men to the Savage Land. So he has these.
Oh, the birth of the Charles screams. I won't let you. Ah!
Yeah, he seems because Xavier's mind is pretty powerful, so he has really have to have these telekinesis or very mind controlling
power.
power.
Of that because in later seasons you're gonna hear a lot of that.
We do. I haven't forgotten about that.
Gene's moans were not the only things to laugh about during this season. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wolf
Well,
is
also
having a good laugh.
another difference. I will say like one more thing for Sauron.
And we lost Dom, I think. Or can y'all hear him?
No, I can't hear him if he went out.
Dom, I think your audio's busted.
He'll probably. Well, while we wait on him to fix it, Dom, If you're listening, we can't hear you, so you might have to fix your audio. Sound like I hear him now. Does anybody hear that?
I heard that hum. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought he was coming back
Okay.
through.
So yeah, his mic is not muted. It's pretty much just his audio just got busted, or maybe his internet is not working. Probably.
He might get kicked out soon.
Well, while we wait, I was going to ask. Yeah, I figured he might have
Yeah.
to restart. Yeah, he might have to restart. Well, while we wait, I didn't want to take all the favorite episodes, but I know Wolf, you particularly like the episode about Beast backstory. So why don't you go
Before I
into
get
that?
into that, quick fun
Okay.
fact: I thought Kazar was McNeil's son.
Really?
Yeah, when they meet Kazar after he tried to whoop their ass, specifically McNeil and Xavier find defuse the situation. You get this one shot of them standing face to face with each other, almost the same height. And do you notice their hairstyle is nearly the same?
Oh my.
Only difference is that Kazar's blonde, McNeil is bleached white, but they're almost the same height, same build, as if they took McNeil's frame and copy pasted onto Kazar.
Oh
Superhero
yeah, I know
builds.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, they almost look like father and son, because I say father and son because McNeil is older than Kazar.
Mm-hmm.
But I originally, as a kid,
I'm so surprised we don't even meet Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in
would
this
have.
show. Let alone
I'm
we
sure
don't
we
even
would
meet
have.
Polaris.
Yes, we do. Keep
Oh,
watching.
we do meet Polaris?
Yep. That's
Oh
later
yeah,
on.
and Iceman commit. But
Oh.
as I was saying earlier, before like the connection started to bug out and StreamYard decided to kick me out. One more thing I would say with Sauron, the difference between his comic book and animation counterpart is in the source material, like Coles was a colleague of Charles Xavier. There, however, because he was bitten by a mutant pterodactyl and became an energy vampire, where he went to Charles to like drain the energy life from the colonies that he had at the time, just to stay alive. However, he didn't know they were mutants, which caused him to transform into Sauron.
Mhm.
So
Right.
yeah, with Sauron, he's an example of a reluctant and tragic villain.
And in season 3, we get more into that. And that I did not know that he was a tragic villain. But in a way, I guess he is. Because he does drain from mutants. He turns into that turn into Sauron. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good way of looking at
And,
it.
oh yeah, there's one more thing I do like to mention about season 2, and this is to a small extent season 3, and I say small extent, where on the DVDs in volume 2, which is where all of season 2 is, it's actually says featuring the Phoenix Saga. So this is actually our introduction to when Jean Grey suddenly becomes more powerful. This is when she becomes the Phoenix before season 3 comes in, which is where we're gonna get into a huge story arc, because this is where we go to the Dark Phoenix arc later in the
Mhm.
next season.
Mhm.
And it gets longer from there.
Mhm.
25 episodes, in fact, in the next.
Dark Phoenix is the next season after.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because this is where Jean grows more powerful, and then she later becomes the Phoenix.
You're getting ahead of yourself there. Slow
Yeah,
down.
you're getting ahead. Season three was the original Phoenix Saga, just like in the comics. Season 4 is when we enter Dark Phoenix territory.
Oh, that's so weird because it says it on the DVDs too.
You
Because
gotta
volume 2
remember
says
DVD formalities. Yeah, DVD formats back. Wait, how old is your DVDs?
I
What year
just
did
got
it say?
You mean how old are your DVDs?
I just got them in the mail yesterday.
What's the copyright year?
There was there was no copyright. There was no case for them. It was on
They're
the burnt disc.
they're on a burned disc.
Yeah, it's one of those discs where you transport one part of information, almost like a USB
Yeah.
file, one of those things. That's one of those
So,
discs.
so you got bootleg. Okay. Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt.
Final, you'll find that is you'll see how that got the Phoenix Saga correct compared to what we were getting. But we'll get into that later once you get a chance to look at it. But you'll see it for yourself. You'll see
But
the
you guys want
relationship
me
for
to talk
yourself.
about Beauty and the Beast? The episode Beauty and the Beast.
Yes,
Sure.
if you would like to, please, because you mentioned that one was one of your favorites.
Oh,
So why is that particular one? Why is that backstory of Beast?
Almost took me off guard. Yeah. That was her response. Yeah. Remind me of Mason from Resident Evil. Yeah. No, I can't. But no, it's one of my favorites because it goes back to the roots of X-Men, the heart of X-Men since the first season, which is in fact, it kind of touches on interracial dating,
Oh my.
Okay,
metaphorically speaking.
sure.
Not literal.
Continue.
So Hank has a slight love interest in this episode, a girl who is blind, and credit where credit is due, where this show highlights Hank's man of science aspect to his character, where him and a fellow Dr. Fran is curing a woman of her blindness. You know,
Mm-hmm.
said girl has the hots for Hank, despite never seeing him, as in seeing what he really looks like. She's interacted with him multiple times, heard his voice a lot of times. Apparently, has a crush on him due to those encounters, those interactions. Excuse me. But she's going to see him for the first time, and it's obviously he's smitten with her. He's a little nervous about what she'll see once she gets to see him with her own eyes. There is, however, a conflict of interest. Her father does not like him because he's a mutant. Connecting the dots yet?
Wow, they
Yes.
went full Shakespeare.
In a way, yeah, but no, it's basically a play on interracial dating. Obviously.
Yeah, but it wasn't blatant.
It wasn't blatant, but it was well crafted and well crafted, may I add. Of course, this is also where we get back to Friends of Humanity fucking up shit as usual.
Yeah.
But we also get what I was teasing in the first season stream. What's that fucker's name again? Graydon Creed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Leader of the Friends of Humanity.
AKA leader or leader.
Well, not leader, but he stirs the pot a lot.
Well, no. He founded the Friends of Humanity, just like in the comics.
Well, he's the grand wizard of their group, anyways. But still, he
Yes.
throws a monkey wrench of this whole love story going on right now. You know, you got the perfect soap opera setup. You got the dad who don't like the son, the son-in-law, the future son-in-law, and you got the lady who's so starstruck, head over heels in love with the guy that she's willing to challenge her father in order to be with this man. And there's some really highlighted moments to glean on this, especially Wolverine. When Wolverine gets involved later on in
Yes.
the episode. And
He
my
does.
God, the way how he gets involved is so amazing. Especially when he goes to the Friends of Humanity's hideout and he pretends to be a beaten up human, which is
Yeah.
amazing how he does that. And my goodness, the dialogue. the dialogue between him and Great is comedy gold because Wolverine is just selling the bigotry.
Yeah, he is.
He is
So
selling
great.
the bigotry.
He
So
is.
a filthy, stinking mutant.
Yeah.
I was just walking down the street, minding my own business, and the mutant just bumped into me. And he says, "Excuse me." So I excused him with my fist. And Creed is just drinking this shit up, just from the rim of the cup to the bottom of the cup. He is drinking it up. He is just so beside himself, so satisfied with himself in his campaign against mutants that he cannot see the fact that there's a mutant sitting right in front of him. But let's not get ahead of ourselves there. And the funny thing is, Wolverine knows something about Creed himself. It's like, hey,
Yes.
you're looking kind of familiar, and you notice that Creed buckles,
Yes.
like just straight bucks at what he just said there. It's like, and he tries to deflect a little bit, but
Oh,
even
yeah,
then, like, what's funny is, Wolverine is already in the hideout. He's with the gang now. They haven't really given him the Coda ring yet, but he's allowed to move about the facility. And I think Jubilee gets captured, right?
Yeah. She's
No.
captured.
No.
No, Carly.
That was a previous season. No, it was Carl,
Carly was kidnapped by the Friends of Humanity.
which really sells their dubiousness as a group that's literally called Friends of Humanity.
Mhm.
And the reason why they have her caught is because she's a mutant lover. Ladies don't think, are we X-Men? Mutant lover. Of
Mhm.
course, you get this amazing interaction between Hank and her father, which, oh my God, Hank being in love, do not get between a man and his woman ever,
Mhm.
especially if he's a 200-pound blue man group, okay, that can literally create a crevasse with his fist, and apparently can lift 450 pounds worth of gold. You heard me correctly. 450 pounds worth of gold. That happened in the comics, mind you. Motherfucker lift a golden tree. A tree made out of gold, y'all.
They believe you.
If you see that man married to a woman, you better not. You better avert your eyes. You better touch nothing but her hand. Nothing but her hand. And eyes on her eyes. You want to see that crevasse and where it goes to. Nor you don't want that 450-pound tree on you either. But I'm saying, like, when he's looking for Carly and her dad's being fucking unreasonable, that man picked that dude up off that ground. At this point, I don't give a fuck if you her grandfather. You gonna tell me what you did with your daughter, or where the Friends of Humanity took her. No, that ain't what they said. No, you better bury this whole shit between me and you. I'm here to save your damn daughter, damn it. Man, if I was Voice and Beast, that would have been my delivery. Boy, if you don't shut your if you don't get your head about your damn ass, I'm trying to save your damn daughter. You need to knock it the hell off before I get Wolfman on your ass.
Wolf's now turned into. He's basically just turned to Cole when he's just ranting in the microphone in Gears of War 2.
That ain't no rant. That was a hype machine.
Or,
That was hype.
Or not, not rant. Yeah.
An honorable mention again. You needed. There's a great scene between Jean Grey and Beast in this episode as well, highlighting again why I think Jean Grey is important to the group.
Yep.
It's a very good scene between the both of them.
Nah,
and
people
why
just forget how
you need
good
her.
Jean really is. They think. See, the thing is, when it comes to people, is you could easily tell who are not story lovers, who are not writers, who are not superhero fans, when they equate somebody doing something is blasting away with their powers. Somebody being
Well,
a productive member is blast, blast, blast. Oh, he ain't doing no, he ain't shit. Oh, he just sitting behind a computer. He ain't shit. Look, you know, you know, that kind of mindset also tells you that these motherfuckers do not understand how the fucking military works. They think the military is all
Oh,
about Rambo blasting Russians with a big fucking cannon in his hand. No, they
oh,
think they
for
think that the military is like the A team, just walk with guns in their hands, just blast everything in sight. No, there's
furthermore, and
people with communications. There's there is
furthermore,
spotters. There is tactical and social cohesion.
and especially when there's some pop culture, soldiers are actually actually told by the superiors when to disobey a direct order.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing.
In other words, in other words, they don't follow like their star like their leaders like morally reprehensible actions when they're given an order. They actually train when to disobey orders like that.
They're trying to recognize they're trying to recognize terrible orders
Hmm.
or reprehensible orders or any form of order that defies their constitutional rights or
hmm.
the rules of engagement on the field. Anything that goes against what the convention or any kind of code of conduct in any theater of war, they'll disobey. They'll recognize it and disobey. And there's a reason behind that. Obviously, you don't want to make stupid decisions out on the field, let alone do a heinous crime either. But other than that, like Jean has her moments when she's off the field and on the field. And go ahead and detail what you're about to say, Leia. Explain to the audience as to what Jean really where Jean really shines at.
Well, to me, what Jean Grey again really shines at is her powers, her mutant powers isn't just hypnotic suggestions or powerful mental thought. She has this ability to feel the emotions of those around her, particularly mutants, and she senses that Beast is in love, but he's also in conflict. He's in conflict because of the fact that he is a mutant. Was other like the other X-Men, his appearance is physical, meaning he can't hide it that much. You know, he's it's called being a beast because he is beastly. His mind is brilliant. He's a brilliant scientist, but he has a beastly, monstrous appearance, and that we learn is still deep down still haunts him. Sometimes mutants hold it up front, maybe like Wolverine, but Beast has always held his in. So because of the love of this woman, it's bringing out conflicting emotions. He loves her deeply, but he also resents the fact he has to face the prejudice of being a mutant. So Jean has this ability to recognize that and know how to comfort him through that, to let him know that you have to see your powers. They're not a curse, they're a gift. And we all have to learn how. I can't quote her directly, but I know she tells him they're not curses, Hank, they're gifts. And we have to
Mhm.
learn how to accept
A
and use our
reminder.
gifts. Yes, a reminder of that. And then there's a
Yeah,
part of him that
Rogue had
feels
to go
cursed.
through this the hard way.
Yes.
Twice, in fact, now.
Hmm. But
Exactly.
And,
even
oh
in the
yeah,
comic,
Neo definitely spelled out what I was about to say about Jean right there. She's a telepath and an empath.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's a powerful ability to have, because despite these X-Men are strong and powerful and can do so many different things, deep down inside, the heart is the biggest Achilles heel to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is whatever emotion it is. It is their biggest Achilles heel. And that is why you need someone as her that has this extraordinary ability to handle that. And it's wonderful how she handles it. She handles it as a good friend, as motherly, but also she even tells him, go to her and see how she feels. Hank, let her make that choice. But whatever you do, still be Hank McCoy. Don't change anything else
Mhm.
about you. Still be Hank McCoy.
What makes
when you
this
do
my
it.
what make this one my all-time favorite episode as well is the way how they defeat Friends of Humanity.
Oh yeah, oh my God. That, oh boy. That is, you're right. Wow, that is so strong. I'll let you get into that. I'll let you go into that, Wolf. But I know
So in that
exactly
the
what
way
you're talking
they go about it is again Wolverine gets a shine in this episode as well alongside with Jean, where he I believe he contacts Jean and Jubilee or I'm trying to figure out who stayed at the X Mansion while this was happening, but he contacts the reserve X Man to send him a holographic data imprint, specifically a special mutant.
Mm-hmm.
So they apparently have hologram technology that reads the bio ancestry of mutants and their family kin or next of kin. Apparently, yes, they have hologram technology that is so advanced that through your DNA it traces it back to a certain family member that also is a mutant. Fancy that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
22 and me went sci-fi.
I mean, this is 90. This is X-Men 92. Now, mind you, X-Men 92 also has Xavier's famous hover chair. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let's not be around the bush there. They also have they also have a technology advanced X-jet flying around. Okay,
Ooh.
right.
And the military has plasma rifles and plasma tanks.
Oh god, we ain't even get into to the whole morph thing yet. Goodness gracious. No, yeah, you have that. You have that as well. Even time travel. But man, oh man, I'm gonna say this. I stopped dead on hologram technology that tells your entire genetic history, or at least have it mapped out. And guess whose file they pull up? Sabretooth. What else is
Of all people.
Of all
now
people.
now get this. Do you want to know what his real name is?
What was it?
I know what it is. You can
Graydon Creed
Creed.
Sr.
Oh
Let me
my.
repeat it. Graydon Creed Sr. Graydon Creed is Sabretooth's son.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
What a twist.
What?
Yeah. What
Dun,
Yep.
a
dun,
twist.
dun.
Now you know
Oh,
why
it's-
he's such. Now you know why he's so psychotic and he's always screaming his words. He's not using his indoor voice in his own rallies either, and why he has a interesting shade of blonde in his hair
Mm-hmm.
and special eyebrows.
Mm.
He is the son of a mutant, and oh my god, the revelation was chef's kiss, and the way how he reacted was icing on the cake.
Oh my God.
No,
What was
I'm normal. You're normal. Get away from me. You're not real. You're not my father. He's just blasting with that phaser. Pew, 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 pew. Just shooting everywhere. About to kill everybody by accident. I'm normal. You gotta give it. You gotta give it to the voice actors in this series, man. They really give it their all.
They were fantastic. They were. That shows the talent of voice
So he's
acting.
the son of Wolverine's lifelong rival.
Yes.
That's why Wolverine
Yeah,
says, "Hey, you're looking
as
kind
well
of
as Mystique.
weird." Oh God, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That comes
and
up later though.
But
And
one thing to keep in mind in the animated series, they changed Victor's name to Graydon instead of Victor Cree like in the comics.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I think Wolverine knew. I think Wolverine knew who Graydon Creed was. That he was the son of Sabretooth.
well, he smelled it off of him. He smelled the scent off of him.
Oh,
Recognized
that's why
that
he.
DNA.
Yeah, but he asked him, "Don't you recognize me? Don't I look familiar?" So did they meet at one point?
No,
Because he tells him, "Don't I look familiar to you?" And he
well,
did,
he's basically saying that as if since he's the kid of Sabretooth, he would probably had seen him a few times with his dad. He probably lived with his dad a few times, and this is probably around their time of Weapon X, before Creed was a psycho, or before Creed became a psycho. You know, because you guys gotta remember, back in the days in their Weapon X years, Creed wasn't as bad back then as he was today. And Creed was the reason why Wolverine left Weapon X.
yes.
One of the reasons why. One of the reasons. Speaking of groups they left, Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight gets an episode in this season. Which
Which is actually with that one with Repo Man, it's an adaptation of also their first of an issue of Uncanny X-Men. It's been where they clash with the team to get Wolverine back, but also not completely, but an adaptation of the Weapon X series done by Barry Windsor Smith.
yeah, you get a little bit of that in the flashbacks, which was I was laughing at that scene when I was a kid when after they grabbed the adamantium into his bones, hands itching. Like, again, gotta give it to the voice actor. They come with some weird ass scream sounds.
Well, I liked episode 2 because it shows how he was experimented on.
I hate
The
that
experiment.
episode.
You
I
hate
hate
why
that
you don't?
episode.
Why you just didn't like it was written, or the fact that it showed that he was experimented on?
No, it's because I didn't like Vindicator.
Oh, that's interesting.
I hate that episode purely because of Vindicator. As a kid, I didn't know why I hated him. As an adult, seeing the episode with adult eyes, I'm like, you are a big asshole, dude. Even when the fucker is threatening your wife, you won't do shit. The fuck is wrong with you? I was like, that's how I was. I was Robert De Niro from Goodfellas. The fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? Motherfucker, manhandling your wife, and you ain't gonna do shit. You got a fucking impenetrable shield with beam blast. Blast the motherfucker. That's your wife. Was a woman, it's your wife. Fucking Canadians. Even his friends jumped in to save his wife, and he didn't do shit.
Vindicator.
And the
Well,
thing
maybe-
is, insult to injury, early in the memories back in the day, they showing how lovey-dovey they are, and this motherfucker muster one finger to protect his wife from the asshole trying to fuck his friend up. His former friend. Ooh, I couldn't stand Vindicator in that episode. Ooh, I could. I'm pretty sure Janelle will probably shed some light. I may change my mind when we get there. But ooh, man, I couldn't stand Vindicator. I couldn't stand Vindicator. I couldn't stand Alpha period. Except for Sasquatch.
Well, at first
And I'm still confused as to what the fuck Sasquatch is supposed to be. I can't tell whether he's a man that turned to a Sasquatch or was he a woman that happened to be a Sasquatch that looked like a dude. I'm trying to remember which one came first. Because like one time I was like, okay, Sasquatch is a dude. You know, he appeared in Incredible Hulk. But then I read the comics, and then you get Sasquatch again, but this is a woman that happens to be a Sasquatch that's male.
Now, were you still reading the Alpha comic book series, or were you reading Exiles?
I don't know. I probably was reading Ultimate X-Men at the time.
Okay, then yeah, that was a completely that Sasquatch is completely different from 616 counterpart.
Right. Like I probably was looking at Ultimate Sasquatch.
Yes.
Ultimate
Sasquatch is not the same. It's not the same as main universe Sasquatch.
I also like the fact that Wolverine kept calling Shaman. Every time he kept saying, "I was like, motherfucker, it's Shaman."
Oh.
The hell was wrong with us '90s people?
Look, alright, so look with Sasquatch.
He's still
Sasquatch is how he came to be. He used gamma research gamma research like in like one of the part of Alaska. However, the experiment backfired and actually opened up a gateway to a mystical dimension, and he bonded to an entity which turned him into Sasquatch.
Jesus Christ, that's convoluted as hell.
Yeah, and the entity that was known as the Great Beast of the North named Tenarok. And his being is
King.
Well, Great Beast of the North because again, Alpha Flight they're based in Canada. So with Tenarok, because he looks like a Sasquatch, he bonded with Walter like based on a deal. You know, so instead of being a mutant or even a mutate, he's essentially mystically enhanced because of the symbiotic bond with Tenarok.
Jesus Christ, I was lost interest immediately. Right in the middle of that explanation.
Oh.
So he's essentially a dark reflection of the Hulk, even though he's an X-Men villain.
He's not really an X-Men. He's not an X-Men villain.
He's an X-Men rival.
Yeah, he's
and
still,
sometimes
yeah,
an ally.
But he's also an ally of the Hulk as well, because Walter and Bruce they did attend college together.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say for the Incredible Hulk series, when they showcase like their interaction with each other, they actually streamlined his origins.
Right.
Oh, and Neo is basically referencing Shaman King. Shaman King.
Yeah, that's what killed me. Although just when you said Shaman, because Wolverine was announcing his shows, there's just Shaman King. That's what killed me.
Well, okay, look, the
I'm done, dude.
Bottom line is, look, in Alpha Flight, you have your members composed of human mutants. You have mutates and those with mystical ties. All right.
I think Wendigo would have probably worked if they said they got Alpha.
No, dude. No, Wendigo. He's a villain.
No, I meant like, because,
he would not work.
No, Wendigo was he's more just a villain. He's unpredictable. He's wild.
Not to mention
So I was
not to
saying
mention like
that
he could come
if they would have
from like
adapted,
anybody who willingly
I was saying if
enacts
they
the
would have
act of
adapted like a
cannibalism.
certain yeah, I was saying
No,
this because they would have at least adapted one certain X-Men storyline in the Days of Future Past comic where the X-Men later meet Alpha Flight and yet suddenly they bump into Wendigo.
but he's not part of Alpha Flight though.
I know, he's always but I'm not saying he's a part of Alpha Flight. He's always basically a major threat to them and the X-Men since Wolverine is always involved with the two of them.
Right, right.
I mean, to call Sasquatch and Alpha Flight a furry juggernaut, you're not exactly wrong.
I mean, the way that you explained it, I immediately went to Juggernaut.
Look, yes, all right. Yeah. So in layman's terms, yeah, he's a furry juggernaut. However, how he acquired his powers is different, but it's still mystic based.
It's still convoluted as shit though.
It's convoluted, but hey, at least later on, he was able to free himself from Tenrock and able to transform into Sasquatch willingly without a mystical demon attached to you.
I prefer the Incredible Hulk animated version because this is just
Okay,
ridiculous.
aka the streamlined origin.
Yes, please give me that any day because this shit is so stupid.
It's comics.
I know.
You just roll with it.
I know. Let's get into the real highlight of this season, though, the meat of the season, which is Morph. And
Yeah, because I already mentioned that at the beginning. Yeah, he was killed in Night of the Sentinels, but then he later comes back and brought back to life by, though under the manipulation of Mr. Sinister, who is the main villain of this season.
And of course, he didn't rejoin the team like after the two-parter Till Death Do Us Part.
yeah, because he still had the mind control chip in his neck, and he was
Yes.
also going through a midlife crisis of sorts.
Mhm.
Yep.
Considering what was going on, he was number one. He was dead for a while. Number two, he's trying to compartmentalize the event of his death, and
Three, he was essentially used as a puppet.
right, coupled with the fact that Mr. Sinister twisted the event for his own gain. And
Yes.
oh my god, Sinister's dialogue to Morph is like an abusive parent.
Yes, he is. He's
Uh-huh.
very.
What are you doing? They're not your friends. They left you to die. Remember, Morph, you owe me. You're indebted to me. His dialogue is just that's one thing I love about Mr. Sinister and why I was so celebratory when I was a kid when Cyclops was blasting the fuck out of his ass because everything coming out of his mouth would just crawl underneath my skin down my spine. Ugh.
Mhm.
Every single time I saw Mr. Sinister, I couldn't stand looking at his ass. He was disgusting. He was vile. He didn't pay his rent on time, or never pay his rent at all. All
He
because
was.
and you know, every time I always hit him up for rent money, he always say, "You can have your rent money when you fix my damn door."
Oh well, if you read more
Because I'm
if you read
evil.
more of him, if you read more of him in the books, you'll see how much of a bastard Nathan is.
Well, yeah, that motherfucker went through a transition. Of course, I hate the motherfucker because that motherfucker was a bitch now. Even worse than the Sinister, Mrs. Sinister. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows what
Yes.
I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, but but Miss Sinister, she was just a regular woman until like she became an unwilling pawn of Sinister, but that happened like later on in the 2000s. Well, mid to late 2000s.
But anyways, yeah, Morph. He went through a whole arc throughout this season. He started off as an antagonist. He antagonized Jean and Cyclops for a while because his Cyclops was on his hit list because he left him behind. They even referenced back to that instance where they even talked about how Scott should have went back to the to get the team back, get Morphin and Beast back, and even Cyclops said it himself. He said he did for the good of the team. You know, it kind of makes him off like a jackass, but a reasonable jackass on his behalf. You know, and on one hand, you can agree with how people are viewing it, but at the same time, you also agree with what Cyclops is saying, and that's another that's the heart of Scott's character, the burden that he has to always shoulder as the leader. He has to make the tough calls, and sometimes the tough calls tends to be the ones where people tend to disagree, and he suffers in silence for it sometimes. Some people will back him up, other people will hate him for it, and probably will never forgive him for it. But he's the one that's what makes Cyclops such a great character. In the beginning, by the way, was the fact that he was the leader of the X-Men that was making tough decisions, and he was always doing it with a level head, and level trajectory, until years later. We'll let Janelle explain that one. Jesus Christ, it's a doozy. But I always love that arc, that part of the arc where they talked about Scott's decision since the first Night of the Sentinels episode, which was quite interesting. The second episode, not the first episode, which is crazy. The next part where Morph really shines is how he tortures Wolverine. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Motherfucker had to stab him in the heart so bad.
Ooh.
Yes.
He torments him a lot when he meets him again.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is at the time of where Morph faked a priest and married off Jean and Scott, and at the time of the wedding, Wolverine is just beat up on Scott in a danger room. A fake Scott, trying to get his anguish over Scott marrying Jean out of the system, in a way.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
And Morph uses that to his advantage.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's harrowing to say the least. Especially when they had that encounter in the tunnel.
Yes.
And Morph comes to his senses in that instance, though. Credit where credit is due for him. He comes to his senses. He's like, I don't need your help right now. I must do this on my own. And what does Wolverine says? I'll be waiting for you.
The X-Men will be waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he went there with good intentions, but then Morph, like you said, does something cruel, the way he tortures him with his mind. But then in the end, Wolverine says, I'll be waiting for you when you solve the problem. So his intentions were really trying to help him. Yes.
And it's funny that he tried to cut into Wolverine's heart, and yet even though after the fight was done, Wolverine doesn't even look broken up or beaten down. Because in the end, he was there for one thing and one thing only, is to get his friend back.
Yes.
Like all that personal stuff that was swirling in his mind about Jean, about Scott, that was set aside because he found Morph. He was tracking Morph, and he found him. He was trying every ounce of his power and friendship to get Morph back, and he failed. He fails. He doesn't win. He doesn't succeed. He doesn't get through. He doesn't get through Morph. Morph does snap out of it for a while, and he just says, "I gotta do this on my own." I I'm reaching. I will admit this, but it's kind of like a metaphorical instance of a friend trying to reach out to a friend with addiction,
That's part of it.
or better yet, here's a better analogy: a friend reaching out to a friend who's in an abusive relationship, and they know their friend's in an abusive relationship, and the friend says, "I got to do this on my own." How many times have you heard that? Or
More
have you
times
guys?
than one should count.
Or really?
No, I haven't heard it that long, but read a few books. You'd be surprised how many characters are like, but I will stay with the jerk. That's like, it's because you're both perverted freaks. It's not because you're in a loving marriage.
I can fix him. I can fix. No, I'm kidding.
Mm-mm.
But no.
Let's go back
Seriously.
to X-Men, not 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though. I'm sure these words can resonate with a lot of people who come to my streams and hear these words. Like, I'm sure you heard this so many times. I'm sure you guys have been in these situations. I'm sure you guys have been the victims of these situations. My goodness, guys! If a friend is reaching out to you, you better reach back to that friend and let them pull you out of that or something. You know that I can't not say that I've had friends who've been in abusive relationships per se, but it is scary to know something like that, or at least I'm pretty sure it's even scarier to be even close to that. And it's sad because I hate to get on a high horse tangent, but I'm going to do it right now. It's sad that we're living in an age right now. I'm telling you this right now. We're living in an age where there's so many things and so many people that against people who want to do right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me repeat that. So many things and so many people out there prevent people to do right. Whether it's somebody who fix their life around, turn their life around, or whether it's somebody who wants to get involved to help out a friend in a sticky situation such as abusive relationship. And yet people are saying, don't do that. Don't get involved. Save yourself. Protect yourself. You don't want to get in the middle of that. Which is 9 times out of 10 is true. Unfortunately, it is true. You do not want to put yourself in a situation where you're ill-equipped to solve the situation. However, it's really sad that truth, or rather not truth, that whole thing is plaguing our will to do something.
Of doing the right thing.
That too. That's what I mean.
Because
Actually,
just doing the right thing. Doing the right thing it feels good. Good because doing good feels good within and of itself.
And
so, it's true.
Excuse me, Dom. I think that is why we're at the modern writing that we are today. I hate to say that, but I think that's why we're at the modern writing that we are today, because we're being hit with people who probably want to do the right thing, but feel like they couldn't, and they're projecting their power fantasy of doing what they think is doing the right thing, which is taking a 2x4 and smacking somebody in the head, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
Basically, taking a 2x4 to the situation, and that's what we're getting the heroes of. Originally, we were getting the heroes that are essentially like that. Nowadays, we're getting the heroes that are just bloggers, mostly bloggers and diaries. But we're in an age where it's a crime to do the right thing.
I'd rather do the right thing than do nothing.
Yeah.
That's been my advice to anybody. It's like whether they're gonna penalize you for doing something, just do it regardless. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'd rather be on the side of damned if you do, because not doing it is way more worse than doing it. You will live in regret of not doing it, because you know the consequences of not doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be respected for doing right than no, I'd rather be hated for doing right than loved for doing wrong.
Or
I'd
wrong
rather you hate me.
or love for not doing anything at all.
Correct, absolutely correct. And I think you are on the money. Doing the right thing, oh, that's corny, or nobody does the right thing. You
That's
can't do
not
the right thing. It's
realistic.
just
Why do you
impossible.
think
Yeah,
humanity
that's realistic.
thrived? Why do you think humanity's got here the way we are now? People want to do good in the world, and yet you're saying it's corny because of this too cool for school attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, I think I'm starting to see there's two things in your world. Either living in ignorance about what is happening, or set aside all your beliefs and grow the fuck up, and yet you can't do both. Fuck both of them. I'd rather do what's right. Screw all of that. I'm focusing on doing what I think is right. Walt's doing what he thinks is right. Leia would do what she thinks is right. Screw all that.
Well, I'm glad we inspired this little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
Well, I hate to cut this all short because we're running on 2 hours fumes. and I
Yeah, we
don't
pretty
want
much
you guys
talked about everything about this season anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we skimmed a few. Let me go on the episodes real quick, just to let you guys know which ones we skimmed through or skimmed past, because as good as they are, they're not that all important. And my computer's running slow. Jesus Christ, you're being mean to me. You're being mean to me. Okay, we didn't really talk about Time Fugitives, which is basically a Bishop episode, because it's a good episode. Don't get that twisted though. It's a good episode.
No, it's also a condensed version of the overarching Legacy Virus story after Executioner Song.
Yes, and that's probably the reason why I don't really rank it high or talk about it enough times, is because of that. It's obviously a big story in the X-Men universe.
Well, not just X-Men, the Marvel universe as a whole, because everyone was being affected by it.
Correct. You're correct. Yeah, the Legacy Virus was a big event in the Marvel universe, and it got condensed to 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was solely focused on the X-Men. Now, mind you, I'm going to touch on it briefly. In the future tense, Forge Doom mentions that there was a lot of lives lost, including mutants. So,
Well, humans and mutants.
what I'm saying is, it's his backhanded way of saying that some of the Marvel superheroes lost their lives.
Mm-hmm. Because like, I was like later on, the Legacy Virus mutated and started infecting humans as well.
Exactly. And who's to say it didn't affected the superhero humans, like Captain America, for example.
Mm-hmm. And also, one of the first humans to be infected by the Legacy Virus was Morgan McTaggart.
Yeah, exactly. Sad. Off screen too, mind you. Of course, we will also get a return of Apocalypse here and there, which was good. Which was also good.
This was good. That was the return of Apocalypse in that particular episode. Yeah.
We did touch upon Red Dawn, but we didn't go.
Makes Time Fugitives not just Bishop centric, but also Cable as well.
That fight between them was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
It was okay. The first Days of Future Past 2-part was obviously Terminator. Time 2, like freaking Bishop was T-800 and Cable was T-1000.
Well, a more heroic T-1000.
Yes. You're pretty fast, but a bit outdated. Outdated? We have the cure, Apocalypse. Your virus is useless.
Yeah, and it shows like after they prevented the Brotherhood from assassinating Kelly, like we see in the future of the Marvel anime universe to be better. Right, first with that, along with the elimination of the Legacy Virus, even though that wasn't named as such in the series.
Another thing we didn't tackle that much is the interaction between Charles Xavier and McNeil while they're in their adventures during the Savage Land, dealing with the mutates, dealing with dinosaurs. Oh my goodness, the meantime, this is one thing I gotta love about the '90s. That's one thing I gotta love about the '90s. Y'all want to know what I love about the '90s?
Go
There
ahead,
were
please.
so many stock audio usage
Mm-hmm.
during that time period. Jesus Christ,
Very
and
much.
nobody got sued for it whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whenever time the dinosaurs showed up in Savage Land, there was always the raptor noises from Jurassic Park they used.
Mhm.
Even T Rex's stock audio
Roar.
was used.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's roar. I was like, my goodness,
They got away with a lot.
for real. Like those sounds was stock audio at this point, and everybody used that a lot. Even in the movie Arrival, you ever heard of the Arrival?
Mm-hmm.
They used the raptor sounds for the aliens in that movie. You can hear it. Some parts of it was sped up, which gave it a different sound.
hmm
The bird cry that they used with Bergermon from Digimon, that was used here in X-Men for the pterodactyls or pteranodons.
Oh, wow.
Y'all know what I'm talking
remember
about.
Mhm.
Yes,
If y'all-
I do. Yes, I remember that.
They use that a lot, a whole lot, and I think that was all also Bond Entertainment's audio files. I'm not sure though. Somebody can
Well, I
correct me.
mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
My thing was
Well,
that's
no, I mean, not out of the realm of probability. That is.
my thing is the resources was crazy staggering during the '90s, and they used it to good effect whenever they used it.
Very
And
much.
I love the '90s for that shit. I live for that shit. It's like every time I heard that, I was like, I remember those when I was a kid. I remember those fondly.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, as much. It's still funny thing. Well, you still have some people even back, well, even like from back then, then which continued on to now. Like people want to talk crap about the '90s. They have a rather narrow view because they only focus on one side of that particular era.
We'll get. You know what? I'm gonna do another. I'm gonna do a stream about the '90s and what they get wrong about the '90s, or what they falsely accuse the '90s of.
Oh yeah.
We gotta talk about that. We're the real millennials. We need to talk about '90s shit anyway.
Oh yeah.
hmm
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're still gonna stay on schedule for what you got planned, Don. But at some point, we gotta talk about the '90s.
Oh, excuse me. But even back then, like with our top, with next Thursday's episode being War Heroes, I was like they were still touched on in various forms of media. Yeah, and they were still respected.
We're not like the pissed off Gen Xers who vividly remember what was election year like, but we can share some light on our carefree attitudes
Mm-hmm.
and what was like through our eyes. Both me and Dom, that is. I'm not sure about these two knuckleheads up above me, or this lady beneath me.
Oh, I remember.
Who's actually the sole Gen Xer here?
Everybody's like, "Ooh, shots fired from the fearless leader." No wonder he's fearless. It's because he's a bully.
This Gen X remembers '90s very, very well, so I know
But yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah,
Oh yeah.
like,
I mean, to be fair, like a lot of the '80s, not just from pop culture, was carried over into the '90s.
Oh my God! And Jurassic Park was a huge influence So that's why dinosaurs were everywhere. So, like you said, it wasn't
Oh yeah.
interesting. They were able to get away with a lot because that film, Jurassic Park, was the blockbuster of that decade. And anything to do with dinosaurs or to use dinosaurs, we were solely into it. But I felt the same way Wolf did because when I would hear the dinosaurs in the Savage Land screech, I'm like, wow, it sounds like I'm in Jurassic Park. Didn't
No,
think nothing much
no,
of
why?
it, but I did get the feeling. I said, yeah, I get this Jurassic
And
Park
now
feeling
you know
with it.
why.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
not
No,
shocked.
they. I mean, Saban used it to their advantage.
Yeah, because they didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of. They say they had to steal wherever they could. This is true. This is a true state. No, this is true. Steal, borrow, but if they could take a sound snippet from other shows or films, they did put it. They put it into the cartoon because the money for animation back then they didn't have a lot of money to do all the things they wanted to do. So they had to borrow or repeat sounds that people were familiar with. But
Very
after a
much.
while, with Jurassic Park being so huge as well, it was like, do all those dinosaurs sound the same? So deep down, I did get that feeling. I just didn't make a big deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were already in we lived that era.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why it's familiar
What?
to you.
Well, also through Jurassic Park, whether the original book or even the films before Jurassic Park 3, really those films like actually got people into the field of, well, at least got people interested in learning more about the field of paleontology, the study of dinosaurs.
Yes, it did. Oh, yes,
Mhm.
it did.
More on that
Dom-
another time. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Those 8 of you, originally 9, and those 9 is motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around as long as you did, hearing us gush about the season. And pretty soon, we're going to talk about season 3, which is going to be the big mama jamma whammy bammy thank you mammy of all seasons. They are
The Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga.
Yeah,
season 4.
yeah.
That's season
Mhm.
4.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Remember-
however, before
It's-
that, before the Phoenix Saga, we get
I ain't done.
Okay. Oh my God.
They outdo themselves later on this season, guys. Just rest assured when we get around to, oh my god, we got lots to say, and hopefully we'll have Janelle this time around in this upcoming season. We'll get her insights on season 2 along with finals insights on season 2 because he's still in the cusp of season 2 right now.
Be interesting to hear what he has to say. Yes,
He's got a
I think
lot of homework to do, and hopefully Humble doesn't skip around this time like it's hopscotch.
watch the whole season final in its entirety. All right.
Well, I
Not
will.
final, Humble.
Okay.
No, not you, final. Well, we're talking about Humble.
Yeah, you said my name.
I meant to say Humble.
Okay.
Even if you don't finish the season, follow it chronologically. Because we're not even gonna talk it chronologically. We're just gonna be
We're just
You know.
only just showing off some of the best highlights of a specific season.
well.
Okay.
We're just gonna start with the thesis, which is what we describe with the season, what the season brought to the table, what's it like, and all that stuff, and you can contribute with the
Okay.
amount that you watch, and not skip over
Mhm.
unless the end episode. Now, forewarning for all you guys who hasn't seen season 3 yet. Season 3 is a big whammy, mammy, jammy, thank you, mammy. For one reason only. This motherfucker's loaded with lots of multi-parters.
Yeah, 25 episodes. I looked up.
And
I looked
all
up the
it-
seasons. 25.
And about
A lot
6
of multi,
them
a
are
lot of
multi-parters.
multi-parters in season 2 and 1 combined.
Yeah.
That is why you do not skip through it, Humble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because
Like,
I'm gonna- I know we're gonna
Okay.
be leaving, but we'll make it
Okay.
quick. I'll make it quick. Because both season 1 and 2 both have 15 episodes. Season 3 has 25, season 4 has 13, and season 4 has 13, and season 5 has 10.
Now my pirated clips, the first 2 seasons is 13.
Yeah. Oh wait, I thought there were 15.
It's your
Oh
format.
wait, yeah.
It's your format. That's how they formatted your stuff. The way how it's formatted in the show proper, 13 per 2 seasons. 20 to 25 in the next season, and like you said, 10. You're correct on the last season. It's 10 because they pretty much they were pretty much over at that point. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'd like to thank my wingmen, starting with the Warrior of Light Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell, that way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to Wolf10 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And be sure you stay tuned. This month on my channel for Comic Studies are coming back. Finally covering Marvel Comics on that show. We are covering The Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off. And remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
One of these days, I'm going to write a book about you, how Final Guys grew back.
Oh my god.
Leia knows that reference. Because she black. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, good.
The Howl of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you everyone for joining us in our discussion of Season 2 of X-Men 92. Make sure you stay tuned for this Thursday's episode of The Real Millennials, where we go over the next generation and their interactions with old media.
Well,
and of course,
it's a girl talk between Leia and Janelle, if she's here.
But it's still, however, old media is part of the conversation.
True. Continue, Don.
But until then, this is the Hound of Self, Dominic Powell signing off. And remember to keep up the good fight and keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world. Because remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. Hope you all have a good rest of your night.
Well, I hope she's not asleep, but we have the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello.
That's it.
We were
Hello,
saying
this
goodbye,
is
and yet you
Humble
say,
Marty.
hello!
Hello.
We'll call you the Peppermint Twins. The lovely Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady of Valor. And thank you for joining us for this vibrant discussion of the second season of the X-Men 92. If you have not have a chance to watch it, please take the time to watch it so you can get a true introduction to the X-Men are. And as Wolf mentioned, there's some episodes we skipped over. So if you would like to make a mention of those episodes in the comments, please list them. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate them. But until then, everyone have a nice evening, and we'll see you on Thursday.
This baby will come in the Wolf to remind you guys that this exists.
X-Men とは悪の脅威から人類を守り、人類とミュータントの平和的共存を実現するために組織されたミュータントヒーローチームである。